All right, welcome to the Spoiler Kings. My name is St. Kramer, Brandman Brandon, Brian the Grizzly, and we are going to talk about episode 3 of Ahsoka. So full spoilers. So if you haven't seen this episode yet, come back, put it on pause, go watch the show, come back to us, and let us know what you think. But yeah, we're getting into all the spoilers with it. It was without was it without the credits? It was about 31 minutes.
31 minutes and 8 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. So there you go. But yeah, so right off the bat, we'll get into some of our good and stuff that we did like. Brandon, yeah,
I liked the pacing of this episode. I like how it jumped right into it. The opening sequence with Ahsoka and is it Huyang, the droid?
Yeah, Wayne.
Yeah. Them training Sabine. That was pretty cool. I liked that. I liked the way they kind of I liked the approach they took to that. I
They
liked
foreshadowed a
that.
lot in that, didn't they? They foreshadowed her having to, do something without being able to be able to see, having to be
Yeah.
able to use the force, learning how to use the force to move objects. Huang saying that she has no force sensitivity. So it's all
Yeah.
foreshadowing that she's going to use the force coming up in the next couple of episodes.
Yep. I agree. Yep. So I liked that. I liked that the plot was pretty like streamlined. It wasn't kind of all over the place.
yeah,
I liked I thought they handled Hera subplot pretty efficiently. So much, I think they showed us just enough of what's going on with her currently. And we could go more into detail with that with each episode. I also liked the final 10 minutes a lot. Like the space dogfight was just cool. I'm a sucker for those when it comes to Star Wars. And I like those floating whales or whatever they were called. I know there was a name for them.
Star Whales.
Pergla.
Yeah, but they called them. She said it's all the Star Whales.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What was the other name for them?
His
A Pergla. Pergla.
Perkla.
Pergla.
Perkla. Yeah. Yeah, they were pretty cool to check out. Yeah. That's what I liked about this one.
Yeah. It was cool seeing the Pergla and then seeing how big they really are. I think you get a little bit of a scope if you ever watched Rebels. They kind of grab onto the ships at the end of Rebels, spoilers, and they shoot off the
Pergla.
Pergla. There you go. Pergla. Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. I'm like, I know it's like pergola is something that's in the yard. Pergla.
Yeah.
Pergla.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So seeing that the dogfight in space, but then going around them, that was awesome. I agree with that. That was so cool. And then seeing how big these things are. I mean, like calling them a whale in space is an understatement. These things are Titanics. They're huge. They're pretty massive. So,
the starships. They're basically starships.
Yeah.
What
you got, Brian?
What? So I thought that it was short. It was, but I enjoyed the fact that we had constant action and we understood what was going on. It's just I'll say this before. It's a story, and when the story ended, they just ended the episode, and we understood, and they gave us a lot of foreshadowing. They gave us a lot of information that was going to come back up soon. They told us, hey, the Jedi and the ancient Jedi used to think that following the Purgles, like you could go from starship galaxy to galaxy following their mating rituals, whatever the way they go. And I thought that was cool because now we know that's what's going to happen. I think they gave us a lot of information that's going to come back up, and it still had entertainment. It still had fighting. The dog fighting was amazing. Going through understanding one thing and the atmosphere, how it changed. Ahsoka took down a ship with lightsabers.
In space.
Like, what? like that actually happened. Like I couldn't believe that while I was watching, and she knew that she was just gonna float off in space, and she trusted Sabine to be able to figure it out and to come get her. I thought that was cool, and the trust is growing with them, and their relationship is growing along with it. Or was it rekindled? Because it might have been that way anyway. Because we don't know how they were at first.
Or
Even Ahsoka as a teacher was very, complimentary, but also putting more on your plate. I expect more. So yes, you are always been good at this, but now you have to do this. And she's preparing her, giving her nuggets that are going to come back up that we're going to see again. And I thought that it did very well. I would have liked 10 to 15 more minutes, but if the story was over, the story was over, and there's no filler. It just advanced the plot and ended.
Yeah.
And at the council.
Mhm.
Yeah. We're gonna get into that. Like Hera being the only smart person in the room. Like, really? I'm like,
Because Mom Mothma is something else.
Yeah, man, this show was awesome. The space fight, and like Dave Filoni said, I think it was an interview I had saw before, and somebody brought it up again, where he said he wanted to do like something with like 0G, like saber fight or something like that, like a lightsaber fight. So he kind of got close to it, like we did get some saber action in space and 0Gs and stuff like that. Yeah, that was super cool. But the dog fight, hey, thank Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
But yeah, the dog fight was awesome. I had so much fun with it. The beginning of the episode, I enjoyed. A lot of people were saying they didn't like it. They're like, oh, it's really slow. I enjoyed the training sequence. It was kind of interesting, like, but it did feel like I've seen it before with other characters and
every
like,
Star Wars.
even with Sabine, I've seen it before in Rebels. But it didn't really ruin it.
I thought that they were bringing it back to let you know how far back she's going. They're bringing her back to basics. She's not.
Yeah.
She's not advanced. They are taking her down slowly, and I thought that was the point.
Yeah, and Xavier said, "I'm glad they advanced the plot in this episode." And that's they not only the plot, the lore. It seems like they're setting things up, because there's that part after the dude gets reboot. Was Huang gets rebooted, and he tells them what's going on, this and that. And I had to stop and rewind that scene because I know me and you talked about that yesterday. Was it? Yeah, yesterday. About that. Or no, on Tuesday.
Was it Tuesday?
Came out. Yeah. And I went back and watched it. And it was kind of like you were more right where they were like, yeah, they would the Jedis would like travel in different galaxies. But then so I was like, so he's like, yeah, this is what they would do, and they would follow their path, their migration path.
The migration part, yeah.
So, but Baylan was like, oh, it's something about a fairy tale. So some point, like real life over the thousands and thousands of years became like just fairy tale. So they stopped inner galaxy travel, like
intergalactic travel. But that because no stories from thousands of years ago has never become be thought of as just made up. That's never happened.
Because even Baylan's like, oh, that's what they tell us as kids in Jedi school, and then the Night Witch Morgan was like, goes, but it's a myth with some truth. And now you got Hu Yang saying the same thing. Is like, oh, it's said that this is what they would do. I was like, shit. So like this is like it's really interesting. And like me being a big nerd, I don't know if anybody's ever watched Full Metal Alchemist. It's an anime. It's a really great anime. But there's a part where they go to a different world and it that's when it gets really trippy. It's at the end and stuff like that. And that's what I was kind of getting vibes of. I'm like, is something gonna happen? Are they gonna go to this other galaxy and it's gonna be like completely new, and completely different? and stuff like that, you know. So that's why I'm
Like,
like, I got some theories with what Dave Filoni wanted to do with
Mhm.
with if he continued with Clone Wars,
mm,
and there's stories he wanted to do, and I'm like, the perfect chance to tell it. You know, it could tie in with the next movies that Star Wars wants to do with Rey. Like
Mhm.
Dave Filoni is doing what he does best, and he fixes the f ups of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, you know,
I just
like
honestly just thought that they're adding some Stargate stuff.
Mhm.
yeah, but that's
That's
like
just
that's huge.
it,
That's huge.
yeah, well,
You
no,
know,
Stargate, but it has been done, but it's great to bring to it because it solves a problem. How you're gonna get to these world between worlds? Like how do
Mhm.
you travel intergalactically? Like how do you do those things? And he solved it in one fell swoop. But now we're gonna be able to use this same thing as a race to be able to get somewhere even more crazy. So I just thought that it's ingenious. It really is to bring those type of things, but it's it's obvious. Sometimes it takes someone who's very smart or knows lore to bring the obvious to to fruition, like to right before our eyes. You know, like it
Mhm.
makes perfect sense. Everything is laid out. I understand exactly why he's doing it, but it takes someone special to be able to bring it in and give it to us. And I think that's what he's doing. He's spoon feeding us. He's showing us exactly why it makes sense and why it falls at all the lore.
yeah, yeah. While expanding on it, he's like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna pay respect to the old stuff, but also I'm gonna move it forward into
Yeah.
a newer vision and idea in somewhere that Star Wars has never gone before. A
Mhm.
different galaxy. That's mind blowing. That's crazy. You know, that's super
Mhm.
interesting. It's like what possibilities are there with
Yeah.
it? You know, I mean, when we get into our predictions, you know, I got a big prediction. But yeah, so yeah, but I just thought it was good. It was a short episode, but it didn't bother me. You know,
Mhm.
it didn't really bother me. I'm like, okay, I kind of liked it. It took me and ended in a spot where I was like happy. You know, I didn't feel gypped or robbed with a lot of other times they've done short episodes where I'm like, that's it. Like I want more. I do want more. Don't get me wrong, but it didn't
Mhm.
feel like it's in the middle of an episode. Like it should
Yep.
be a commercial.
You
You know,
finish the
commercial break.
story.
Yeah, like this is an end of an episode, and it's not a commercial break that they just finish it. You know, which
Yeah.
that happened so many times before, and it's super annoying. You know,
Which
Right.
is good because it helps the show not wear out its welcome as well.
yes, yes, yeah.
Mhm.
You know, because you ended in a good spot where you feel okay, and then you don't overdo it too much where like you start
You
another story in the
you're
middle
throwing in
of
filler.
yeah,
You're not
Exactly.
fulfilling the whole story. It's not gonna feel like an incomplete thought or anything like that.
Mhm.
that's a good point. So far 3 episodes, none of it felt like filler.
Mhm.
None of it felt like filler yet. So so real quick before we get into our some of our negatives or bads, Xavier said, next time Hera, don't ask permission, ask for forgiveness. Exactly. Exactly.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, oh, for sure. For sure. And then see for yourself what is up, my dude. I really enjoyed the episode. Nice. I had some gripes, but overall, I'm really enjoying the show.
Mhm.
I need Bailey to get off his ass at some point, though. Oh,
I think that's happening next episode. It's going to go down.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, isn't that the thing of a Jedi is Jedi's never seek the fight, but they're always like ready for it, kind of thing. You
Mhm.
know, so he's like, I don't need to hunt you. You need to come here anyway. But when you do, I'm gonna be ready for you. You know, that's why you got Merrick and you have the Padawan. He's like, yeah, guys, go let off of that. Let off the anger.
Mhm.
But yeah, Balin is so cool, man. Like even at the we got him for what a minute in this episode, and
If
like
that.
yeah, and but even that little bit of a minute, he was just so like commanding those few seconds he
Mhm.
was in there because you know he just like so much like body language and stuff, and like he didn't need to be in it a lot to kind of get like he really doesn't want to kill Ahsoka, but he's got to do what he's got to do, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
But it's funny you saying all that, but Shin, I felt exactly the opposite.
The
I felt like
opposite.
you felt her very, very much being very impulsive,
Uh huh.
doing whatever, like and not thinking, because in episode 2 she was very thoughtful and she knew she was better. This one, you see her just being impulsive and doing things that were just not right, not good. You know, you're chasing them and you're making mistakes all left and right, and you can see why you're a Padawan. Like,
Yeah.
but Balin, you know, he's measuring twice to cut once. He's making sure he's I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do it the right way, and that's what makes him the master. And I think that's the key concept that we're getting, no matter what, with them. And she's gonna be impulsive. I think she's gonna run to an impulsive situation and die.
That's
Hey,
that's gonna be
it's
interesting. That's gonna be but all right, let's get into some of our issues that we might have had with the episode, Brandon. But yeah.
You know, even though I thought the you know, I kind of had mixed feelings about the runtime, even though I was totally fine with it. It could have ran a little bit longer, but you know, at the same time, I know I say that, and doing that may have just been done to pad the runtime. So I'm kind of, I don't even know why I brought that up now that I just answered my own question. But I want to see more of what's going on with just really what the plan is with Ray Stevenson and Billie Eilish there. No, so but the you know, the show really is, it's almost kind of frustrating because I'm enjoying this show so much that each episode kind of leaves me wanting to see what happens next. So that's really my only complaint, you know. So it's a good complaint to have for now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. He clicked the wrong button. It's happened to all of it. Brian, what are some of your negatives?
I really don't have a lot of negatives. Everything about the episode was really well done. But the only thing is, you know, you want more, and that's more being selfish, because I think it works really well. Everything worked really well. Everything was cool. I could have had a little bit more Balin, but we're gonna get so much Balin in this next episode. I feel like that this was fine. I'm always for more Rosario Dawson's. Don't get me wrong. Like you know, but that whole episode was full of her, right? But no, I have very little complaints about this. I thought this was fine. And my complaints are more for people saying this is boring. And it's the same people that are saying this is boring, the people that loved Andor. And I don't understand it. It's driving me nuts. I can't understand how you think Andor is entertaining and this is boring. What? Just okay. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I need to go to class to figure it out. Star Wars school.
Star Wars school. Like, help me understand. I don't. No, yeah, that's insane, man. What he said. This episode actually made me ask why the Sith have Padawan. First place, what Ed? Well, the Sith never have. I guess technically they do, but it's more of the rule of two. You know, was kind of a thing that I forgot which Sith Lord created the rule of two, because there was just a bunch of Sith Lords. And then he killed them all. He's like, there can only be two. There's the master and the Padawan, and then the Padawan will eventually kill the master and continue the cycle. You know, cycle of like hate and killing. That's why I don't think neither of them are quite evil.
So the Sith is not just apprentice overall. It is Padawan.
I think it is more of an apprentice, because the Padawan's more of a Jedi kind of thing. But it is like just apprentice. You know, you always have your apprentice. They always use. Yeah, there's been two for like hundreds of years. You know, which is kind of crazy because it started to change a little bit, because now that what are they called? Inquisitors are canon. You know, so it's like they're not quite apprentices, but they kind of are apprentices, which is going to lead into one of my theories. Because in the comic books, in the new comic books that are canon now, like Vader helped train from the order of the Emperor, helped train some of these Inquisitors. Vader didn't like it. He fucking killed a few of them because he's like, they couldn't keep up. So I killed them. You know, it's like, you know, it's like, you know, it's like. And there's like one where like he was like I forgot what the detail was, but he was like talking shit, and like he would like cut off their limbs, like make them suffer in a way, that he suffered, so he's like, yeah, they need to understand. And then the emperor's like, hey, can you stop fucking them up, please? Basically in the comic book, it was awesome. And Vader's like, no, they need to suffer, which is like super funny. So he would like cut off limbs or do something to
Their
disfigure them.
suffering will bring them more pain, and their pain
Yeah.
will bring them more anger, and the
Yeah.
anger will make him stronger to the dark side of the Force. My
Yeah.
master. And I was like, dude,
That's
just
his
stop.
reasoning. That was his reasoning, but it was more like Vader just wanted to, fuck shit up. Like
Likes being a dick.
Anakin wants to prove that he's better than you, and he will cut off your arm to show you. And he killed a few, I think, Inquisitors. If I believe he did. But yeah, it was kind of interesting with these two characters with Vader and Jin. In my opinion, this leaps and bounds more entertaining than Andor. Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Any day. Every day. This is so much entertaining, especially I think as a diehard. Like I feel like if you like the prequels, it has a little bit of prequel feeling to it. I don't know if you guys got that when they were in the space flying around the space whales. And a Menace when they were in the sea, with the big fish. I got vibes from that. So pretty cool.
Andor was freaking. It wasn't. I have mixed feelings about it. I appreciate what they were trying to do with it. It was just the pacing, like we said many times. Just I had trouble staying with it.
Fine if it was 8 episodes and all that filler got taken out. So like the episode with them just walking from one point to the next point with nothing else happening.
Yeah,
that shouldn't have been there. Take it out. Go ahead and have some stuff going on. Because I mean, don't get me wrong. In all those episodes, at least 3 or 4 of them had some action. So if it was 3 or 4 action and 3 or 4 not action, Andor would have been better.
If there was a lot more world building and lore, I think it would have been better. But Brandon, I know you got to get out. Do you have any anything else you want to say about it? Any predictions or anything that you might have forgot?
No predictions just yet. Kind of curious to see with the last like 30 seconds where they go with that, what that's going to spell out. Ahsoka training Sabine more. I think they're setting Sabine up for a pretty interesting arc overall. So it'd be cool to see that. I like the characterization of Ahsoka, like just her being like older and more kind of world weary or universe weary in this case. But yeah, that's pretty cool to see. But yeah, just curious to see where they go next with the way that it ended this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I am getting like mad drowsy. I've been like fighting the urge, like trying not to fall asleep sitting here. Plus, I got to get up early anyway. So I bid you guys adieu. I will talk to you later.
Yeah, I've been doing YouTube all day today and
Mhm.
working.
All right, thank you everyone for joining. It's a pleasure as always. Good night, fellas.
All right, Brandon.
All right.
Take it easy, man.
All right, good night. You too.
So I didn't get some of my bads real quick.
Yeah.
I didn't hate anything about I didn't hate anything about the show itself. It was very frustrating for me when who said it earlier, where Hera asked for permission and she needs to ask for forgiveness, and I 100% agree. It was like it's mind blowing. It's like Xavier. It's like oh, this person just found out like the evil people have been stealing your tech, and just not any tech, like hyperspace made for star cruisers, so big hyper drives or whatever they're called, and a lot of them, 7 of them at this point. They know where they're at. They know they took Morgan away, who was a big issue, and now we know there's Sith Lords, right? And now she asks, like, hey, all this is going on. I need an army. We're gonna go and F shit up. And they're like, no, you're overreacting. I was like,
I think you missed the point.
I get the point.
No,
politics,
the fact that no, not even just that. That exactly what the lady said. She said there are people from the Empire on every level of government. every level of government, including that council. And I think,
yeah.
and that's what, and Mon Mothma is going to tell her. I believe she's going to tell her in the next one, tell Hera to go ahead and silently take these people and to go. And I think that's what we're going to see at the beginning of the next episode because of that. Because I think everyone sees that and thought that was stupid. Why did she just do it? But that's what's going to happen. And she's going to have someone watch her son, and she's going to go out and help them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think
I know
that's going to be
sure.
but Mon Mothma is going to be the one who tells her, I can't do it because I can't trust these people that are on the council, but I can't just do it, which I don't understand because Palpatine could do whatever the hell he wanted when he was leaving.
You're right.
You know, why the good guys always got to follow the rules, and the bad guys could do whatever the hell they want? That making any sense?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, people getting upset with it. I'm like, relax. Like they're obviously doing it on purpose, you know, because, like you said, because as soon as she said, he goes, oh, but there's former Empire people everywhere, you know, and then Mon Mothma came give us a side look, like
exactly,
like we're like, you know, so I was like, you know, and then it ties into Mandalorian season 3 when who is it? Giancarlo Esposito's character. I can't think of his name. Can't think of his name right now. But when he's talking to the council of like the people on there, I'm like, it seemed like because they were like, oh yeah, I'm in with the New Republic now. You know, and they even did it with that whole episode that we all hated. It shows that there's a lot of people on the inside that are former, you know, bad guys that are still former bad guys. You know, so you know, I get it, you know, but I thought that was kind of like stupid. But also it's like, but if the other one's agreeing with it, I was like, does no one remember? Like this war just ended. It started because of people like you. And they're like, it's fine. It's just one Sith Lord. What did he do? Like, you know, take over the fucking galaxy. How about that, dumbasses? You know, and then he literally like disbanded all of government. And it's like that's why I understand what he was trying to point out. He goes, that they're still
what's his name? Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon. Yeah. As soon as you said Moff. But yeah, yeah, it was just like funny because they're doing it again. And this is what happened the first time. You know what I mean? It was just like the inaction of anything when it should be, you know, and Hera's like, hey, this is going to be a problem. They're like, yeah, but it's not a problem now. She goes, it's going to be a problem, you know, and it's
let's take care of it
like
now
that.
before it becomes
but that's so much like a government every government ever, you know. It's like when it becomes a problem, we'll handle it, but it's past that
unless
point.
you have a dictator. Unless you have a supreme chancellor and a dictator who could do whatever the hell he wants to do, and then guess what? It works for 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, I found that one a little silly, and her floating in space was funny, but the first thing I thought about was why she can't do it when she's been obviously trained with the Force much longer, but yet Leia did it unconsciously, you know. And I mean that either shows like that the sequels suck, which they do. Sorry, you know, you know, because I think he did it right. You know, he did it right. So, I mean, in concept, it could make sense, and he could have done it. And I think it would have
Ahsoka into a superhero. I mean, just like, you know, Leia was able to go and fly through the air.
You know? Yeah, I mean, but that's kind of like, you know, like you're able to pull cups to you, and no one says anything. But what if you pull yourself to the cup? You know what I mean? And in this case, the cup is the spaceship. You know, same concept. You know, because there's no friction, there's no gravity, there's nothing holding you back. So, you know, I mean, like I said, it kind of does make sense when you think about it. But it just, I think he made the right decision by staying away from that, because it already got so much backlash from the movie.
And
they're like, yeah,
even more questions.
Yeah, he's like, we're not going to do that. So if you're still watching, go click and check out Chaos Central. They are our friends with Anzo, Chris, and Danny. They're the main guys over there, and they invite us every week to talk about like kind of the bigger shows. You know, now we're talking Ahsoka, and they do a whole panel of like, you know, 6 to 8 people, and we have a lot of fun.
And we argue the entire time.
Yeah.
It's our show versus their show. That's just what it is.
Well, I mean, we're pretty much agreeing on like how much we all kind of like this show, which is good. But we for sure need to get those guys on and have a duel of the prequels, because they all like the prequels a lot, and I think us are like,
Little do they know, we're like Darth
okay.
Maul. We're prodigies, and
We
we will
never
mess
die.
them up.
Slice this in half, and then we get spider legs. You're the spider
Exactly.
legs. We become the Syndicate. Never
I
end.
love it.
Yeah. But yeah, so check out Chaos Central. I'll add a link up here, and I'll put them in the description a little bit later too. But yep, but we're gonna be there on Sunday, so if you want to see some more, check us out there. But we're gonna be back every Thursday talking about this. Maybe we might do another like Tuesday thing at the end of the season, which is like October. You know,
I almost wanted to do yesterday. I almost jumped
me
on
too.
just to start talking yesterday. I was like, yeah, let's just go.
Me too. Me too. I was like, I want to talk about this so much. Because I am super hyped about it, and I really do like it a lot. You know, I think I love the hype it gives me, but I don't quite love the show yet. But I love the excitement.
The possibilities.
Yes.
The possibilities it's enthralling.
Yeah. But I think after next couple weeks, I think more people are gonna be like, oh, I love the show. You know, so we'll see.
I already love Rosario Dawson, so that's all now. All that matters right now.
There you go. But cool. Appreciate everyone. If you're watching on replay, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, let us know what you think about Ahsoka episode 3. If you're watching live, stick around. We are gonna finish this up for the